Hello again, everyone. This is Dflekd with Firm But Fair Gaming, bringing you another build video. This is a status slash weapon damage build, and this is one of two builds that I put up yesterday, some gameplay, and it just shows you a little bit about the status and how it works and how the increase your weapon damage works very well with this. And it's just a little fun build to use, so a little something different, do great damage. You'll be hitting your shots with the Pestilence and just shredding enemies, as you will see. So that being said, let's jump into the build. Like I said, it'll be using the Pestilence. And the reason I'm using the Pestilence is for the Plague. Hits apply debuff, dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds, stacks up to 50 times. Now, once you boost your weapon damage, this does immense damage. It's very fun to use, very great. You'll see yellow bar enemies just shredded their health without even shooting them again. It's just a plague on them, and they die. It's great to use. So try this one out. It's my Pestilence is rerolled to 14 LMG damage, 12% to damage out of cover, and 6% to damage armor. My backup gun on this build is the Police M4. Reason I'm running this is for Ignited. I was using this as I burn the enemies, but they're pretty quick and they're a little hard to hit sometimes with the canister. So this is my backup weapon when they are burning, though. So deal 20% damage to burning enemies. It's a mediocre roll. Nothing too spectacular about that gun. The pistol, again, nobody ever uses it, so I just put on any pistol. It really doesn't matter what you throw on. Jumping into why this build works so well. First piece I am running is the Wyvern Wear, and I'm doing it for the status effect. The Pestilence does not work with status effect. It does not count. The Plague doesn't count as a status effect, even though it should. It does not, though, so I will give you fair warning on that. But I do like that if I'm using a status effect, that does help take some enemy health, and they bleed and they burn longer. So that's why I went for that. The piece here it's okay. It's got some health, headshot damage. I put skill haste on mine. This and the backpack perk are what you are after. Perfect Spark. Damaging enemies with a skill increases total weapon damage by 15% for 20 seconds. So I put weapon damage on this, rerolled for status effect, and this one had weapon handling. And with your backpack, Wicked. Applying a status effect increases total weapon damage by 18% for 20 seconds. This just happened to be on Golden Gear, which is another 10% status effect. I rerolled more weapon damage on to get more damage for the Plague. This isn't a bad piece. It could be better, but that's what I have. Going through the rest of pieces of gear, I use the Contractor gloves, and the reason I'm using this is for the extra LMG damage. More weapon damage equals a harder hitting Plague. This one has damage to armor. As everyone knows, it did get nerfed, but it's still okay. It was only 11%. Now it's 8%. I have a 10% status effect rolled onto it. And moving on to the Kneepads. This one is using the Sawyer's Kneepads. And because they do the extra 3% damage every second you are not moving, stacks up to 10 times. When you're behind cover, this starts instantly to build. And you can get an extra 30% weapon damage, which when you shoot targets, puts the Plague on. Your weapon damage is higher. It does a higher damage of the Plague. That stacks great with the backpack for 18% and the chest piece for 15%. So you're getting an extra 63% when everything is procced. The holster I have is Wyvern Rare. I did it for the second piece for the status effect. This one has status effect rolled onto it and skill damage. So when you're hitting people, I use on this one the Stinger Hive because it applies bleed, and bleed is a status effect to proc everything. I just have skill tier 3 on this, so 30% extra damage, 15% extra range. Now the refill speed is 5.4 seconds, 11 charges, and the damage is 610,000, so it's not too bad. I don't have any great mods for it. I actually just have stim effect on right now, and I would actually set up for my other Artificer Hive, so I didn't change any of the mods. It really doesn't matter that much. You could put on an extra 4 of the Stinger charges, which will help you out, but I didn't really do that yet. I'll toy with that later. The last piece is the Firestarter Chem Launcher. The burn effect on this is great. It really stuns the enemy. They can't do much. Problem is, the NPCs in this game are very, very fast. So they can actually dive out of the way of your Chem Launcher. It can be pretty annoying to hit them sometimes. But if you hit them, you get the proc, plus you have the chance at the Stinger Hive. So you're just looking to proc your weapon damage and then shred everything with the Plague. That's the whole goal of this. You want 2 status effect ones. You can use the Shock Hive. You can use the Blinder Fireflies if you don't like this. So you could use a Stinger and the Blinder Fireflies. There's a couple different options with what you can use. You can use a Flame Turret. Anything to apply a status effect will work. The Fireflies actually might be a better option because the Chem Launcher does make it hard to hit people. So the Fireflies would be up every 35 seconds, and you could launch them at, this one would be +3 targets, and you could use that instead of the Chem Launcher, or you can try with the trap as well. I've used the trap on the other build. It works pretty good. So those are the pieces I'm running on this one. I'll put a link in the description to the gameplay, and you can see me take over a heroic control point. No problem. Very easy with this. You'll see how much the Plague does shred when all this weapon damage is procced on it. Also in the description is the other version of the status effect build. So I did 2 versions of this. I want to see what everyone thinks, which one they like better. This one has a Sawyer Kneepads. The other one doesn't require Sawyer Kneepads. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer this one or you prefer the other one. They're kind of the same, little differences in it. But yeah, leave a like, share, subscribe. And this was Dflekd with Firm But Fair Gaming.
Pin him down! Get him! Back. I'll move on them from there! Take it apart! Good work, everyone. You did good.